Pagudi.
Hey, so sorry.
You want
Big apology up top
you want to explain to everybody
for
why
the
we're doing
fact
this
that
on
we're
Friday?
still doing the podcast. Everyone, I apologize. No, yes, Ben. Let me just say that yesterday, um, at 5 p.m. Central Time, I left to go to CVS with Betty, friend of the podcast, and said, "Hey, I got my podcast at 6." And she's like, "We'll be back by then." And I was like, "Cool. That's right." And we got back in plenty of time for the podcast, at which point I put my phone away and then proceeded to not do the podcast, forgetting entirely that it existed. Uh, and then I picked up my phone and I was like, "Oh, there's a text from Ben. It just says Paul." Oh, no. Now, here's an interesting thing. At around 6:05, I was on my iPad, right? I was still doing my iPad thing, and I received a phone call from Bainbridge Island. And I thought that was weird, and I just, dropped it. But number one, my iPad gets phone calls, which is interesting, doesn't get texts, which is also interesting. I think it's because I haven't set up texts, but for some reason the phone call rings through. Probably I have a setting of some kind. But anyway, so and then I got another message from you that was I'm just leaving. To which I then apologized, and I was like, I I I care about the podcast. I care about the podcast. I care about Ben. Why is it that I can't remember? Why do I have such a hard time doing it? And finally, what I came up with, and you might hear a comment from Jennifer from this because it's something that she's been telling me forever. There is no shame in me putting it in my calendar and having an alarm go off that says, "Hey, get ready to do your podcast." I think I still have this. I don't know if it's a Puritan work ethic from my parents or whatever, but there's this idea that if something is important enough, you'll remember it and you don't need to write it down, which I think in my case is incorrect. Are you showing me that you actually have an alert for the
It's
podcast on your
it's a
phone?
repeat. Yeah, it's just a repeating. It's not. There's no alert for it, but it is a repeating instance of an appointment in my calendar that I've had in my calendar for years.
And I mean, the other way to look at it is, of course, I've got my phone with me all the time,
Except when I
right?
text you.
Yes, that's right. Ugh. But anyway, so I apologize to you. I apologize to our viewers who most likely clamored to watch a stream that was not there.
Well, we do have
Um,
drunk with us right now.
hey, drunk. Hello, sir. Or Matt. I believe drunk is a. I don't know if that's ever been established though, and I apologize for not knowing. I
There is a
believe it's
There is a
a
thumbnail. I can't. It's so small. I can't even see what the picture is. It's probably not even of the person themselves.
uh,
Um,
I'm gonna make a guess that it's a beer, and the only reason is because I want to do the callback. Don't you talk to my beer, which I want you to explain to the people because
drunk.
it's
First off, drunk has confirmed he is in fact a guy, a dude, a male, a sir.
a
Um,
sir in
we
this case
were Paul. We were at a gas station slash performance venue on
in
Beacon Hill,
Georgetown,
Georgetown. I don't think it
Georgetown
was.
slash Beacon
I think the
Hill,
gas
where
station was something different.
Georgetown blends into Beacon Hill. Maybe it was an old garage or something,
It
but
was.
it was a bar for sure.
I believe we were there to see a performance by the Bad Things,
I believe that
and
is correct.
you and I were sitting at the bar. You famously don't drink.
That's right.
But we were there enjoying the band because our friend Stephen McCandless was a big fan of this band, and I think all of
It
us
was a
were
good band.
hanging out. Oh yeah, I bought their CD. Um, we were sitting at the bar just hanging out, and for whatever reason, I was pretending to ignore you. Perhaps you missed an appointment earlier that week.
No, I
And-
think it was a bit. I think it was
was a
bit
bit.
of some kind.
It was a bit. So, Paul, you want to reenact what we did?
I don't remember it. I think there was a woman.
No, there was no woman. I think it was just you were trying. I think what happened was you were trying to start a conversation. I wasn't having any of it, and then you were pretended to try to put the moves on my drink. I had a beer in front of me.
Oh, yeah, no. This is okay. So there was a woman. And this is the part that you're forgetting, I believe. There's a woman sitting here, and you're sitting over here. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a guy. This is what I remember. There was a guy who protectively put his arm around his girlfriend while I was sitting there, like that thing where they kind of envelop the other person.
Yeah,
And I turned to you and I said, I don't remember exactly, but I turned to you and I looked at your drink and I said, "So, are you enjoying the show?"
You don't talk to my beer.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is that you were, I don't know if there's just this part of you that won't allow you to remember this, but you were making fun of that man a little bit.
Completely forgot about that element of this little encounter.
Yeah, you brought that same energy to the thing, and it was hilarious.
But we probably both noticed like this very pretty girl that we were sitting next to, and then some overprotective
and
dude
then he came up
and
was
put
like,
yeah,
like this is not happening. This is I've created a new space.
I'm so insecure. I have to hide my date from these two nerds who are sitting in a bar.
Exactly. Paul Goody and Ben Lawrence, famous date stealers.
Exactly.
If only, just wait. If I ever work up the courage to make eye contact or speak to anyone here, you're gonna run into problems.
Like also, and we've talked about this, like famously, we got into line at SIF to see a movie only because there was a pretty girl at the end of the line. Ended up like kind of talking to her, but also ended up just like really loving the movie.
Right. The Happiness of the Katakuris.
Happiness of the Katakuris.
One of my favorite movies that I would not have seen.
Yeah, were it not for the blue-haired girl standing in line at SIF.
We got a chance to actually see Takashi Miike speak.
Yes.
And also I had one of my most favorite experiences whatsoever, where somebody said to Takashi Miike, "How do you make so many films so quickly?" He said something in Japanese. Everyone who spoke Japanese laughed. And then the translator said, he says, "I get paid for every movie, so I make a lot of them." And then everyone who spoke English laughed. And then all the people who spoke Japanese laughed at the fact that the people that didn't speak Japanese only laughed after the translation happened. It was so beautiful.
There was also another line that I remember. I do remember that sort of that thing, that happening where the people who understood Japanese laughed first. But there's also another line of his that I remember. And when somebody asked, if you've seen Happiness of the Katakuris, this isn't a spoiler, but there are sections of the movie that are in stop motion claymation.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was, why did you elect to do some of these sequences in stop motion? And Takashi Miike, through his translator, said, the actors were old. If I used them, I would have killed them.
Yes, which was also awesome. He's so he's interesting. His stuff is. I wonder what he's doing now. What he's been doing lately. I don't know.
Not heard
Oh,
from him.
hey, speaking of things to watch, where are you at Andor?
I'm up to speed. I just watched the most recent episode on Wednesday when it came out.
Spoilers for Andor and
So
the Bible, ladies and
drunk if you
gentlemen.
haven't read the Bible, but pick it up now before you listen to the rest of this show.
It's good too. This is a spoiler for the first few chapters, so
Is this
it should
Old
be all right.
Testament Bible?
The Old Testament Bible. So the fact that the character Andy Serkis was playing can't swim was a lovely.
Drunk just wrote that in the comments, so that's
Yeah.
he's up to speed.
Was a lovely nod to Moses not being able to enter the promised land, which I thought was really nice. And I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. Andor, my favorite Star Wars property of all time. It's nice that it's the one that they're doing now.
It's getting a lot of buzz. It's getting a lot of positive praise because it is focusing a lot more on the human story, I want to say, other than like the Force and Jedis and lightsabers and blasters and so on and so forth.
And it's good. This is the other thing that I people cannot look at this show and be like garbage. I can't believe that they're putting the show is good. The writing is good, the acting is good. And it, again, yeah, you're right. It feels like too many times Star Wars, Star Trek, all those things, you as a person are watching this going, well, I wouldn't be able to be on that away team. I can't do any of the stuff that they do. I don't have any of their knowledge and all that. Andor, you're watching it, you're like, I possibly am, I know that I would be able to experience an emotion if I were in this situation. Like you think about being in the prison, and I know for a fact that I would just be I'm just here to do my time guy.
Yeah.
Right?
You'd be Kieran Loy at the, up until he learns the truth.
Yeah. And then hey guys, we're still going to get in trouble. It's possible. It's possible that I would do that. Speaking about, go ahead.
This just in. I mean, Drunk is following the conversation. He says he watches Andor while reading the Bible, which I don't think you do, but thanks for paying attention. He says,
that's funny. I like it.
Moses not getting into the promised land. He says that's honestly an amazing analogy of that scene, and he will be stealing that when he discusses the show with other people.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you can't steal something that seems pretty darn intentional. I feel like
I don't know anything about the Bible, so I didn't see that. I wasn't raised with a Lutheran minister father.
Yeah,
I know like the top level stories. I don't know the details.
It's not that deep of a cut that Moses wasn't allowed into the promised land, but I take your meaning, Ben, and that's.
But there's one of the things that and Drunk has mentioned this. Andor has had a lot of. I think the only critique it's had so far is that it has had some pacing issues. And like it's not the final episode. I hope it's not the final episode. But this episode 10 is a build-up it's like a culmination of a lot of story points kind of coming together.
Yeah.
And so, but it is episode 10, and so they have had a lot of, time to develop, I want to say. Drunk calls them filler episodes. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call them filler episodes, but they have just time to, develop these characters in these stories.
Yeah, I feel good about the pacing personally. I am watching it episodically, which might help. You know, the fact that I'm waiting for the next one. Whereas if I
Yeah.
saw all 10 at once, would I go, kind of drag during this part? I don't know. Every new thing I'm eating. But then again, I mean, people said there were pacing issues with The Walking Dead, and I noted that maybe I didn't feel it as much when I was watching it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean,
Lost maybe was that one. I
well,
Yeah, there was a
famously,
time
they
where
had no idea what they were doing.
yeah. Oh, speaking about shows in general, just in general, um, HBO Max has all the Doctor Who's from Peter Capaldi on, or actually, I think they might even have it from
Christopher
what's
Eccleston
yeah, from Christopher Eccleston on,
from
maybe.
the Doctor reboot.
Yeah. But I started watching the Peter Capaldi ones. And I realized that Doctor Who is my favorite show. Um, and by that, I mean it was one of the first TV shows I ever saw. Famously, if you don't remember the story, I'm going to say it really quickly. Famously, um, I, something I mention all the time is what I mean. Um, I I watched Doctor Who. I watched an episode of it, yeah, because a babysitter of mine didn't track what I was watching.
Yes, the Sesame Street tale.
I turned on Sesame Street. Didn't know that it wasn't Sesame Street, so I just and I remember, this was prior to me going to school, so it would have been 4 years old probably or somewhat. When I told him, that I wanted to watch the thing where the robot comes out of the bookcase and shoots people, which, by the way, I was, as a kid, conflating two episodes. So I've seen multiple episodes of Doctor Who before I Pyramids of Mars, and then there's another one where a robot is there, because I remembered in my head whatever went through there didn't need to breathe. And that's not a line from Pyramids of Mars. It's a line from the robot one.
Was it a Cyberman?
It was not a Cyberman. Different one. Speaking about which, spoilers for Dark Water, Cybermen, in the Peter Capaldi thing. Very good stuff.
So Pyramids of Mars, was that William Hartnell? Was that the first Doctor?
No, that was Tom Baker.
Okay.
Tom Baker was the first Doctor that I saw.
They say your first is always your favorite.
Right. Yep. John Pertwee, I like him a lot. Again, mentioning this, they could get Sean Pertwee to play him if they wanted to, and they should, because I think that'd be awesome.
Sean Pertwee is in one of my favorite movies of all time. I've probably mentioned this. Dog Soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah. You actually famously almost didn't want to watch Dog Soldiers because you heard that someone threw up in it. Like someone on screen throws up, and you at the time
that sounds like
you said, I don't want to watch it.
Did we? Were we at your house and you had a DVD or something?
I think we saw it in the theater. Actually, I think someone took either I saw it in the theater and then we watched it on DVD, or because I saw it in the theater. I've watched it many times since then in different venues. But yeah, what year was Dog Soldiers out? When did it come out? Because I can tell you at that point.
I want to say 2003. Also, Drunk is
really?
Leaving by Drunk. It's old. Let me look it up.
I thought it was older than 2003. That's what. Because if it was 2003, then you and I saw it in a theater.
2002,
I believe. Yeah, I think you and I saw it in the theater then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember there was.
I could look it up, but he plays Alfred in some Batman property.
He does. He plays Alfred in Gotham, I believe.
Oh. Speaking of Batman, today
saw
the passing of Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman in the animated series.
And Gallagher.
And Gallagher. But that had nothing to do with, They say you always come in... celebrity deaths always come in threes.
Yeah, that's right. So, so there's a guy who voiced Batman, and then I guess two other people. Also, Gallagher died. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
it is important for me to note that there are many people that I enjoyed as a kid that then took a right turn, and it may be that they've always been, you know, on the
Yeah.
right, but we didn't notice it as much.
I was just
Um,
gonna say or ask, didn't Gallagher? Didn't he have some controversy in the recent
yeah,
years?
Mark Maron did an episode where he said some things that Mark Maron took him to task for.
That's right, and like walked
Um,
out.
yeah,
Like Gallagher walked out of the interview.
I mean, I had a tape when I was listening to it, and he talked about Mexicans like a big group.
Yeah.
Um, give it to Japanese people; they love to be busy. I think was another thing. Like he did humor that
It's
was
probably nothing out of the ordinary for the 80s.
well, man. I tell you what, I've talked about this before, but I watched that episode of the Muppet Show where they did the celebration of all nations or whatever, and it was rough.
Oh, did
Uh,
they have stereotypical Muppets?
Stereotypical Chinese Muppets was one of the
Yeah.
things that happened. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, Spike Milligan, who was really good, went all out. And when I say all out, I mean, it just wow, that was something. So yeah,
I don't.
and
Yeah.
famously, the Henson Company has big hearts and do their best to be inclusive and all that. Senators are mad that there's an autism Muppet or whatever.
There's like an openly gay Muppet, and
Yeah. So the fact that that is in their history is eye opening. As far
well,
as
I mean,
that.
yeah, it's not whether or not that's in their history; it's how they've dealt with it. And I think the Henson
Yeah,
Company have redeemed themselves. They haven't doubled down on that.
I feel as though the Ford Foundation is another one. Like they've been doing some
because
stuff. Jennifer,
Henry Ford was anti-Semitic.
yeah, Jennifer Pratt. The Ford Foundation, is that right?
There's a Ford Foundation.
Um,
Have they made up for Henry
have they
Ford's
made up
awfulness?
for Henry Ford,
No,
or
you can't make up for him.
do they try?
I'm not even sure exactly.
Okay. I could have sworn that the Ford Foundation, maybe, wow, maybe that's propaganda on my part, but that's what I heard. Heard that the Ford
You're
Foundation
getting gaslit
did,
into believing Henry Ford was not that bad of a dude.
Oh no, Henry Ford was a bad dude. Man,
Yeah,
people,
he was eugenics and all that.
eugenics,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Brilliant
told you,
industrialist, terrible human being.
I one of the stories that again, this is as we've discussed many times on the podcast. I was not diagnosed as autistic as a kid, but I was. And one of the things that somebody told me and was like, haha, you see, was you should never salt your food before trying it, because a guy,
Edsel.
Etzel,
Edsel's the one who established it. Guess what they do?
what do they do?
The Ford Foundation.
Sorry,
was
Ford
established
Foundation.
in 1952.
1952.
As justice began to inequality and
Providing.
social justice.
Can you hear her?
Civil rights.
So the Ford.
Also, they've been giving people grants
Okay.
and scholarships there to advance.
So
Persons of color in the
yeah, Ford Foundation, human rights and social justice,
human rights. It's all about racial stuff,
racial equality.
So yeah, I
So-
think Edsel may be trying to make up for something.
So yeah, Etzel may be in fact, doing his best.
He's of course quite dead, and these are all
So
children of the Ford legacy, but the Ford legacy is quite shameful.
The basic thing though is it's don't salt your food before you eat it, before you try it. Somebody tried that and Henry Ford didn't hire them. And it's always like Jennifer pointed out that never happened, but also it's like, okay,
I'd never heard that before.
what that's a strange way to not get a job. Okay, fine. Guess what? I don't care about it. The if they had said to me, "Don't salt your food before you try it because maybe you would like it the way it is and then salt it afterwards," makes more sense, and I understand that.
Yeah,
But nobody hit that part of it.
that's what I was told from a very early age is try it before you put extra seasoning on it.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense to me, but
It's nothing to
but
do with
that
Henry Ford.
was that section was removed, and it
Yeah.
was just Henry Ford won't hire you, and
That's
the
weird.
chances of that, again, as a kid, we've said it before, other comedians have said it. I felt as though I would run into quicksand much sooner than I would have to worry about a job interview. Fear of quicksand was a big deal.
Oh yeah. It's surprising that that's not more of a danger in our Gen X lives than it is.
Speaking of a danger in our Gen X lives, Ben,
The Bermuda Triangle is another one.
you and I have dealt with or have skills that the millennials and the Gen Zers don't necessarily have, and that came into play when we went to the I forgot to mention this, I think, when we went to the Renaissance Festival. We said, hey, to Betty, hey, we're going to meet here at this time because our phones don't work. So if you're going to go off, that's fine. We're going to meet at this place. Which is something that it's a skill that's just sort of, in the old noggin because that's what we used to have to do. Sometimes people don't do that. Jennifer had mentioned reading a map is another thing that people don't have to do these days. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Was it
But-
reading an analog clock?
Oh, that was hard for me, even.
So what's the thing Betty couldn't do to make the rendezvous point?
Oh no! Just the idea of having this.
Just the idea of
Of having a time and a place to meet.
Yeah.
When you go to a large place because not being in communication, it's tough. You could get lost as a kid. Some kids did. But
I
anyway,
got
the
lost
reason I
all
bring
the
this
time.
up, as you know, Ben, I don't know if you're familiar, but I've been using the AI imaging tool Midjourney. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast
I do have something
before.
to say about that once you get through with this initial foray.
So it is in beta. When you sign up, there's a big thing that says this is in beta. We do not, we do not guarantee that you will have service. We do not guarantee what that service will be. You're paying for access to our prototype.
Yeah.
And in office hours, which is where the guy who's kind of running the thing talks to people, he always mentions, don't make a business model off of the technology that we're doing. By the time you would even, be close to getting an investor or a client or whatever, it's going to change and you have to relearn how to use it again. We're on the bleeding edge of this stuff. And so it went down, and it was down for, I don't know, maybe 10 hours. And people lost their minds. They were just like, I can't believe I pay. Let me ask you a question. If I joined a Pizza of the Month club and one day I didn't get a pizza, would you just say, oh, well, no, I need my pizza. So you're going to give me my hours that I paid for back.
Yeah, but
And
it
it's
also sounds like Midjourney was like, sometimes you won't get a pizza.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's the point, is it says, you know, welcome to our Pizza of the Month Club. By the way, you may never get a pizza. It's possible. So anyway, though, you had something that you wanted to say. I did not want to take away from that.
So the first comment that Drunk posted before he pieced out, which we didn't get to, but I knew that we would get to it eventually. He says, I remember you talking about AI art, and there's a big mess on Twitter right now with deviant art. Do you know about this? And before you say anything, I think Jennifer read that comment because she texted me, Paul doesn't know about Twitter. I haven't told him yet.
Okay, let me tell you, this is we can use this as Paul's going to guess the news. What I'm going to tell you is what I know about it based off of what people on Midjourney are talking about.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do my little talk about where I'm at right now. I believe the thing was that DeviantArt is I don't know how they're doing it or what the plan is, but they are allowing their artists on DeviantArt to opt out of training data or something like that. That is at least what the people were complaining about. They were like, how are they even going to know? Blah, 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 whatever. But I think that was it, that there were some people who, okay, so just back up really quick. What some people do when they use these tools is they will write a sentence that goes something like this. Name an artist that you like, visual artist.
A visual artist that I like. Liechtenstein.
Okay, so it'll be, and I apologize for the mental image that this will. No, I don't have to do that. I can do something nice. I don't have to do anything bad. Wilford Brimley teaching Kermit the Frog to ride a bicycle in the style of Liechtenstein, and then they'll hit and then it'll make that thing.
Right.
And one thing that people were complaining about, version 4 came out, and they would say, in the style of Liechtenstein, and then what they would get is a painting in a frame of that. So it would look like an artist had drawn it.
Right. Yeah.
And they can't use that for the thing that they're writing, so they were complaining. And the idea was that the DeviantArt people are gonna put another barrier to them prompting using the artist name. That's what I heard.
Okay.
What is it for real?
Oh no, I have no idea if that's what's going on. But there is a big to do. This is a Paul gonna guess the news. Paul, what's going on with Twitter these days?
I know that Elon Musk has taken kind of charge of Twitter. And let's see, what do I know about that? I know that Elon Musk is going to put an end to Twitter's work from home policy. That's all that I know.
So
are people are all changing their name to Elon Musk?
That is connected to it.
Okay.
So if you are a celebrity or a person of note, what happens to your Twitter profile?
Oh, are we talking about how he's selling blue check marks now?
Yes.
Everyone can get a blue check mark for like $8 or something.
There's a not just $8, $8 a month.
$8 a month. Oh, okay.
However, just today, probably what she just said, just today, they stopped doing that.
Oh. Oh, what are they doing, Jennifer?
Signing up and saying their companies, their George Bush, their Obama, their President Trump, and just saying random horrible shit, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay, so they basically took away the verified altogether.
Yeah. There has been a real world consequence because of this. There's a company called Eli Lilly and Company.
Eli Lilly. Oh, sure. Eli Lilly is a drug company, Ben.
Yeah, I think Jennifer knows where this is going. Somebody
George Bush saying, "I really miss killing Iraqis." Tony Blair saying, "Girl, same."
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
So the thing about Twitter is if you can see on the app, you can see somebody's name. Let's say it's Elon Musk. Right next to it is like @fake Elon Musk account. You know, you can see that. So the Twitter handle @Eli Lilly and Company tweeted, "From now on, insulin is free." And the actual Eli Lilly company had to tweet that, sorry, no, that's not true. That's a fake account. Their Twitter handle, the actual Eli Lilly company, their Twitter handle is @lilypad. And so you can see where people might have gotten confused because Eli Lilly and Co. tweeted this. Their stock tanked. They lost $1 billion plus.
Wow.
Today.
Wow.
Like, I care that a drug company lost $1 billion. It's just funny how this has backfired so... I was going to say famously. That's the word of the day, is famously, in today's podcast. It's backfired so spectacularly.
So, I'm glad that I quit Twitter when I did. Because I don't think I'd be able to navigate that well. I have a problem, and by that I mean I would of course be obsessed with trying to figure out who's who and all that kind of thing. Instead, what I've been doing, Ben, is in version 4. Now, version 3 of Midjourney had this already, but it wasn't as good as in version 4. Image prompting. So normally people will type a thing that they want. Famously anime cat girl winking sexy 4K cinema ultra high def trending on DeviantArt, whatever, like those things. And then they'll get pictures. And all of them are using the same words, all of them are getting the same pictures. It's it's easy to tell when something is done. It's getting harder now with version 4. It has more variety. But the other thing is that version 4 is doing image prompting a whole lot better. Image prompting is you put in an image and it takes elements of that image and puts it into the picture. So what you do is you can't image prompt just one thing, because then it would make something that would look a little bit too close to the original. You have to have two things, or a thing in wording and all that. And so what I've been doing, and what I am going to continue to do probably forever whenever I use this this tool, is I've been drawing my own image prompts. I draw a thing and then I put it into so I'll make a sketch of a centaur, right? And then I'll say a centaur galloping through the forest, and it will make a picture that, and it's hard for me to describe, but I can show it to you after this. I'll send you via text. Oh, actually, wait. How far are we? Where are we at?
We're at 4.
Because what I can do.
4:37.
Okay, what I'm going to do, Ben.
We did start early, so we're at minute 40.
Okay, I'm going to send you just really quick via text. I'm going to send you 2 pictures. And I want you to guess what the picture that I'm sending you is a picture of. It's my balls. No. Come on, guess. What is this here?
I don't want to
Um,
guess. I don't like this game.
So, that's weird. Why is it not showing up? You would think it would. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna show. I'm not gonna do this. Well, I was gonna send you a thing of Betty, a thing that Betty drew, and then what I got out of it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you a picture of a girl that I drew, and then what it did with that picture. I say girl. She's a scientist, Ben. She's a scientist from the future.
Girls can be scientists.
Yes, that's right.
All right, so this is the picture that you drew,
That's a picture that I drew.
and this is the picture that Midjourney spit out.
Yep.
Did you have a prompt? What other picture or what?
So it was the
Dialogue.
picture that I drew with the words "a scientist from the future,"
Right.
or she was a scientist from the future.
I mean,
So you get the idea.
It just what it looks like to me is like concept and execution.
Yeah, that's right. So
Like this is like a quick draft of what our character in our cartoon is going to look like, and this is it in final rendered form.
right, exactly. And that's really what it's doing, and it gives me like I also got here really quick. This will be
It's the podcast's new profile photo.
so let's
As
see here.
opposed to the the combination of you and me combined, which just looks like somebody's weird uncle from the Midwest.
It has that one as well. I mean, all off of this one picture, right? And I don't think you saw this one, but this one as well.
Kind of looks like the one you just sent me, not that one. The third one you sent me, I'll show this one, is a little bit, it's a mixture of, I want to say, what's her name? Gosh darn it. I'm going to look her up. A combination of Anya Taylor-Joy and...
Who's Anya Taylor-Joy? Which one's that?
Did you ever see that show about chess on Netflix?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the gal who played Kitty in Arrested Development. Man, why can't I remember her name? She was just in a TV show that I watched called Reboot. Judy
how was
Greer.
that?
Judy
by the way?
Greer. This looks like a mixture of Judy Greer and Anya Taylor-Joy to me. I really liked it. I think Reboots, I hope they do a second season. Because it was a lot of fun. Keegan-Michael Key, Judy Greer.
Oh, Keegan-Michael Key, friend of the
Yeah,
podcast.
Johnny
by
Knoxville.
extension.
Johnny Knoxville,
Oh.
for some odd reason, who's really great in it. I mean, he
Hey,
basically
Johnny-
plays
well, I mean-
Johnny Knoxville.
I mean, that's the thing, is that Johnny Knoxville is not a bad actor. He's a very interesting cat.
Yeah.
But there's a real world application for this that I want to tell you about. When I was going to Canada, I was driving through Canada and I saw this thing I just sent you, and I made this sketch sometime afterwards, trying to explain it. It was this structure that was near the Canadian border that looked kind of like a utility tower or pole kind of thing, but also it looked like it was maybe a building. It was really hard for me to describe. So I put this in there, right? I put that little sketch in there, and I described it kind of like I described it to you. All I said was, this is the prompt I said, when I was nearing the Canadian border, I saw a strange metallic structure through the snow. And this is what it gives you 4 options, right?
Yeah.
The option I'm just about to send you was exactly pretty much what I saw.
That thing?
Yeah.
Now, here's a question.
If you live near the Canadian border, show this for a second, Ben, again. If you live near the Canadian border, what is this thing? What is
If we
this?
had a more slick podcast, I would have loaded these into the computer and cut to them, but this is what you get.
What is that? I think
you know what?
Yeah.
There's gonna come a time where that exact same thing is gonna be available, where you're trying to think of. So, like I say, I was going to Canada from North Dakota, and there's this structure on the side of the road. It's a building, or it might be a tower. It's got some red lights on it. What is that? And then AI is gonna be like, oh, that's this thing. Here's a picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, Siri already kind of does that in a way.
Siri can't give you a picture, though.
Right. Well, actually, hold on. Let's find out. Hey, Siri. Can you show me a picture of what a Firewatch station looks like?
Here are some images of Firewatch station looks like from the web. Have a look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that what I saw might have been a Firewatch station.
Where were you entering Canada? What part of the States?
Oh, geez. Through Michigan. Hold on. I know where I entered. Where I entered Canada was Saskatoon, and I was coming from Illinois. Right. Yep. That's exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to Soul Coughing at that time already, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Halloween is past, Ben, and yet still Salem
are still cool.
Has a history that needs to be examined, and the Salem Foundation, started by Etzel Ford,
Henry Salem.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, so this is the big thing. For me anyway, Paul Goody, there's no reason to use words only anymore to do this, because I have Procreate on my phone, right? I even suggested, hey, is there a way that we can draw instead of speak? I don't need to, because I've got image things now. I can draw and Procreate, open that up as an image thing.
I'm still amazed that's the name of the app.
Yeah. There was a joke that I was going to make, but I didn't want to make any more work for you, Ben. So just yeah.
Effin was taken.
Hey, but let's do an experiment, Ben. Give me anything that you want me to draw, anything that you want an image of. Make it a little bit hard so that we know that I didn't do this ahead of time.
Okay, how about?
And we'll keep talking while I'm doing it. Also,
how about a bear with a flying saucer with for a head?
Okay, sure.
A bear with a flying saucer for a head.
Now, I want you to do me a favor, Ben. I'm going to draw this for you, but I want you to go to Amazon.com.
Oh, jeez. And buy me this very expensive book.
No. I would like you to go to Amazon.com. Tell me when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay, I want you to look up 5-minute stories. That's what it's called, 5-minute stories by Paul Goody.
Five-minute stories. I even put your name in, but you are not the only 5-minute stories. Are you talking about 1-minute stories?
Just 1-minute stories. Yeah, sorry. Is it 1-minute stories by Paul Goody?
1-minute stories by Paul Goody.
I think it's 5-minute stories, I think.
Is that a bear with a flying saucer for a head?
It's a bear with a robot head on it.
Paul, I've never heard of this. This is like a magic trick where you're like, okay, give me just some random words,
Yeah.
and I've published a book with that very same thing on it 20 years ago.
20 years ago today, and now, Senator, is this your card? I just find it kind of funny when you mention that. I'm like, hey, hold on.
Yeah.
I think.
I swear I never, just in case, don't copy that drawing, for God's sake.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm doing something different.
There is a subtle misdirection right on the cover of this book.
I mean, the big thing is I wanted to make sure, Ben, that you knew that existed so that you wouldn't think that I was doing something.
Yeah, no, I know it exists now.
Crazy. Yeah. So
fortunately, I'm not signed in to Amazon on this computer, so Amazon's not going to be suggesting more of your stuff to me.
Oh man, who would want it?
Who would want that?
I ask you. Yeah. So the big,
I already have all your things.
That I would wait. Do you have 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes or 1 minute? It's
I don't have
minute, right? Or is it one?
No, it's 1-minute stories. And
1 minute stories. Okay.
It's only available via the Kindle. I do not own a Kindle.
Yeah. Okay. So
if they had a hardcover,
I think what it was is that I was doing 5-minute stories and then somebody else started doing it, so I changed to 1 minute to be better.
There's a lot of 5-minute stories out there.
Yeah, I think that's why. But these are short fictions that I wrote in a minute, and they're great, by the way.
Says you.
Yeah, exactly. Can you look inside this book on it?
I already closed the page. Hang on.
Oh man.
1-minute stories, Paul Goody. Hey, first hit. What do you know?
Hey, look at that. If you get the name of the book right, if I give you the correct name of the book.
The foreword is by Boaz.
Oh, really? What does it say? Can you read that?
It says
it's by Boaz Frankel.
Forward by Boaz Frankel, written in 1 minute, in parentheses, not quotes. It may seem daunting to some to write a book forward in 1 minute, but as I haven't actually read any of it, I think it should be pretty simple. Upon seeing this book for the first time a few minutes ago, I recommended that Paul change the title, but he said that... And that's it.
That's also a wonderful Boaz Frankel impression.
The
Boaz,
beaver. I was not trying to do a Boaz Frankel.
If you're listening, Ben was not actually doing a Boaz Frankel impression. That was my joke.
Although I am friends with Boaz on Facebook, and I see his content every once in a while.
Boaz is cool. I like Boaz. If
beaver,
Boaz has been canceled for some reason, I apologize.
The beaver that was totally crazy is one of the stories.
Yeah. Can you read it? Is it in there?
Quote, look out for that beaver, end quote. The fireman was too late. The beaver already started chewing through the burning log cabin. Holy crap, look at him go! Before long, the naked hermit was saved. Thank goodness for the crazy beaver. The end.
I mean, come on. What else do you want? This is good.
There's also The Magic Womb. And there's a story called The Best Dog in Arkansas, but apparently that page is blank. So there are no good dogs in Arkansas?
Oh, no. That's too bad. I don't know if I was making a statement with that or if that was just an accident.
Did you screw it up?
What's the magic womb?
For his 5th birthday, Charles was told by his parents that he was going to get a new baby brother. Being progressive parents, they also explained the exact manner in which this gift would be formed. Many months afterwards, the story was proven to be true. The next year, Charles was told by his parents that he was going to have a new bicycle. He calmly told his parents that while the prospect was chilling enough, he wasn't sure he could wait that long again. The end.
Yeah. That's right.
So
So
that appears to be it for look inside this book.
okay, so I'm going to send you first of all my drawing, which I have completed, and it is now, like waiting to be processed. I've uploaded it. You might see that my bear with a UFO for a head is similar.
The bear is very similar to the bear on the cover of 1 Minute Stories.
I draw things pretty much how I draw them. Part of the reason why having an AI finishing my work for me is so appealing.
Right. I can do twice the
inter-
work in half the time.
Interestingly, there are problems that it has with hands
Bears?
and words. The same issues that people sometimes have in their dreams, which I think is nice.
Let's go back to this for a sec. Do you think it knew what you were drawing and just pulled up a reference photo of that exact same thing?
No, I don't think so. Because it pulled up three other photos. It might. Okay, so here's the thing, right? It might have gone, okay, what are things that are that shape?
Yeah.
With those kind of lights on them? And then that's how it pulled it up. If that makes sense. So in a way, yes, we've talked about how diffusion models work, right?
Diffusion
talked about that
models.
before?
We probably
Yeah,
have.
that's what that uses it. It basically you take an image, you keep on adding static to it progressively, and have like key points where it remembers this is where it's at 50% static, this is where it's 70%, all that, and then you have it work backwards, and it makes the image out of the static, and then you give it just static and say, okay, make the image out of this, please.
Yeah.
And it guesses what the image is based on how it works. But it gave me these 4 images. And when I saw the one that I sent you, I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. It's pretty cool. Oh, look at this. Oh, well, it looks like it didn't do it exactly right.
Oh, look at those. There's a bear head with like a UFO hat.
Now, do you know why it didn't do exactly right?
Because it's not as advanced as you hoped it would be?
No, because I used just text, not my image prompt.
Bear with UFO for a head.
So if bear with a UFO for a bear, I may have made a miscalculation, by the way, because it may not be done. I thought it'd be cool to show you what it would do on its own before I put the image prompt in, to show you how the image prompt makes it better. But this is one of the things, right? If you can see there, just using words, it knows bear head, it knows UFO, and
Yeah.
it knows how to make a good picture, but it didn't
Does it know
replace the
grammar?
bear's head for UFO. What's that?
Does it not know syntax or grammar?
It does
It only
on
knows
occasion.
nouns.
No.
And if you're listening
but-
to the podcast, we're not describing these pictures. Just go to the YouTube channel and just watch that.
So it does understand it. It's just that you oftentimes it's called prompt craft. You have to switch words around and keep on trying
Prompt craft.
until it figures out. Yeah.
When's that gonna get into the OED?
Oh, probably at some point in time. People are trying to. Obviously the hey, is this art conversation happens way too often.
Yeah.
If you people like me who do art, like traditional art, and do this, we don't necessarily care if you call it art or not, because we can do art, so we feel okay about calling it whatever. Some artists, most of the people who just make money doing art, hate it when you call it AI art, or when you say that you are the one who's created it, because it cheapens their skills and abilities.
You don't
Because I'm
talk
not
to
the-
my art.
Because I'm not that great of an artist, I don't feel as much of a problem. Although, Ben, you would say I'm an artist, wouldn't you, Ben? Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
sir. Just don't hit me. Don't hit me. You're an artist.
Yeah. So there's that. But people have been using the term prompt jockey,
Oh God.
which because it's similar to disc jockey.
You don't say.
The idea that people who are playing music, the disc jockeys, weren't playing the music themselves.
They didn't
It was
create
music
the
that
music.
other people made, but they were playing it, which I found interesting. Like, and this is what someone said, because eventually DJs like DJ Koala did start making music. Turntablism, is kind of a thing where you're making different sounds. Oh boy, here we go. It still has problems, Ben. It's better than normal. I'm glad that you're going to be happy that you waited for this.
I bet I am.
Okay,
Still waiting.
here we go. Here's number one.
Yep.
Wearing
still
it
the
as a
same.
hat.
Yeah, wearing it as a hat.
Here's number two. It's now the bear looks more like my bear, right? It's hovering over his head. Uh-oh. What's this? Bear hat again. But Ben, get ready. Get ready,
Did we-
Ben.
Did we hit it on number 4?
Number 4, I believe,
That's closer.
did it
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll send you number 4, Ben. I'll blow it up and I'll send it to you.
All right. I'll
Oh,
use
shit.
that as a cover
Oh,
art.
whoops!
God damn
Whoops.
it, Paul!
It was number 3, not number 4. I was going in clockwise motion. And that's not how it does it.
even
It does
Edward
it in...
is upset.
Yeah, I know. Edward's been barking all day. Speaking of barking all day, Ben, we're at the end of our podcast.
Yeah, it feels like we've been barking all day. So, hey, Paul.
Hey, well, thanks, Ben. As always, great seeing you.
Yeah.
Great talking to you. And I apologize. Let me just do this. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go into my calendar.
Just create a recurring event every Thursday at 6 podcast.
Okay, so I'm hitting
Um,
add, repeat,
Weekly.
custom, frequency, weekly, Thursday, and I go back,
Fascinating
Oh.
content.
Did this happen? I don't know if I did it right. Repeat custom, yes, it looks like. Starts what is today? The 11th, right?
JDC 11. 11.
And we're starting it at this occurs in the past. Be careful.
So the next one will be the
it.
18th.
And I'm
And then
going
the
to
week
call
after
it
that is
podcast.
Thanksgiving. And then the week after that, I'm actually
Hey.
leaving. So we have to reschedule the next couple weeks after.
When and how? What?
We'll talk.
Where are you going? Okay.
Going to my cousin's wedding in Austin, Texas, the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Uh-oh.
That's what I said.
Why?
Who gets married?
Why is it Thursday and Friday for podcasts? That doesn't seem right.
Well,
did it
we'll
wrong.
let our audience figure out if Paul got it right next week on the GudeLaurance podcast.
All right. See you, everybody.
Keep it wrong, Paul.
I had a check mark next to Friday. That's why.
Bye.